So, hello, people. I said I was going to do a follow up when it comes to my um, shamanic journey, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about how I stumbled into that, and all. Well, it started a little bit on when I was a child, and my grandma would talk about things, and I wouldn't think of it as much because as a child, you don't think much of things like that. I mean, you're a child, and then my dad would tell how things would be and all, and I would see my aunt do work with herbs and things like that, and she could do magic with them. I mean, my God, I wish I had that knowledge, which I don't. Um, I wasn't much in all to that actually. It was around me, but still I wasn't in it. And I don't know if it's between 10 and 15 years back. I decided to go with a friend to a shop. So I went to a shop with her, and we were going to meet a friend of hers and get introduced. And this was a spiritual shop, of course, uh, where they sell all sorts of spiritual things. And um, it was so fun because we met her friend and we were standing and talking and all that. And suddenly her friend came, and he he started to communicate and talk first to his friend, and then he started to communicate and talk to us. And when I touch people or shake hands, is when I read people, and he didn't know that. And it's nothing that I talk about. This is how I work. I read people's energies and so on by touching them or passing by them, and so on. I don't need to have cards, even if I have over 400 decks or something. What I don't know how many, but a lot. Um, I don't need all that actually, because I can read people anyways, as I'm in tuned, connected, and all. And that's what I did exactly. I did read him and told him about himself and what he was thinking and wanting and all that. And he was amazed to meet a person like me. Like, how in the world can you do that? And he would go to, I don't know if it was Peru or if it was another country, and they would, do ceremonies with San Pedro, I think it's called. Was it San Pedro or was it uh, ayahuasca or something like that? It's something. They are different names of this. There is Peyote, there is San Pedro, I think. There is ayahuasca, etc. I am not sure exactly if it was San Pedro or not, but anyways, he was talking about that. I have never felt drawn to things like that because I believe that when you're spiritual, you don't need things like that because things will come to you anyways. But that's not what we started to talk about, but I'm just telling a little bit about him. Anyway, so he invited me, he to and my friend to a drum circle. And I said, fine, but I don't have any drums, so what will I do there? And he said, yeah, well, don't worry about it. There will always be someone that will have an extra drum you can borrow. And I said, oh, wow, okay, fine. So I went there. My friend didn't, but I did. And I listened to them sort of calling in the four winds, and everything of that. It was like a big ceremony and all. So I was listening to that, and then I was listening to how they were drumming, and I got to borrow a drum as well, and I was drumming with. I always try to sing with, even if I don't know the song. That's how I am. So that's exactly what I did do. And a couple of days after this, I had a dream about me standing in a village with a lot of teepees, and there was a big fire, and we were standing. Some were standing and some were sort of sitting, but a lot of people was standing, and I remember looking around at everyone and the faces and all, and suddenly I find myself, and I was standing and drumming, and I remember this dream, because this was a dream. I remember this dream so clearly, and my drum that I had in that dream was a drum that, if you imagine yourself like a tornado that is spinning around, round, and it starts with a small, point, and then it moves bigger. It's like, yeah. So that's exactly what was with my drum. But it was all the colors, the rainbow colors that came out from it. And I was stunned by that. That's where I knew that, okay, it's time to find a drum. But I didn't decided 100% that yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do, and so on. So I didn't. I sort of forgot about it and moved forward with my things, spiritual things, reading cards and runes and all that. And then I went to again another drum circle, and was participating, and it was interesting. And as I was standing there and drumming and singing with everyone, I started to see the drum in front of me hanging on a tree, with the same colors, rainbow colors, that was coming through that drum. And I started to move towards the drum, and I wanted to have that drum as well, because that was my drum. I mean, hello. So when I started to walk towards the tree and drum, people started to react and ask, Asha, what are you up to? Where are you going? And why are you? And I say, and I'm pointing towards the tree, and I'm pointing towards the drum, and I said, don't you see, this is my drum, I'm going to get my drum. And they say, no, there is nothing there, it's just a tree. And I said, no, my drum is there. Anyways, and as they stopped me, because as I can't see, it's not easy to move around, so I just listened to the people anyways, and I stopped. I remember feeling a little bit awkward, a little bit sad, not moving and going towards the tree, and so on, but yeah. And then I I was out walking my guide dog one day, and it was hot summer, and I had sort of summer shoes without uh, you know they were a little hill, but nothing that will make a sound. But I could hear how my feet started to drum the earth. So each and every step that I did take, I could hear like boom, 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 boom. And it was like, okay, am I going crazy? What is going on? What is happening? Why is this happening to me? And I thought, okay, it's the shoes. But I know it wasn't. But that, I had to had an explanation for that, so I put it on the shoes. Yeah. And then next time I went out with a dog, I had ballerina shoes. And they don't have any heel at all. You can't hear them. Uh, it was the same. My feet was drumming the earth, is how I call this experience. Each and every step I was taking, I could hear like boom, 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 boom with each and every step. And I was like, wow. So the third time this happened, I thought, okay, either this is shoes or I'm going crazy. So what I did do, I removed my shoes and I went on the grass instead of walking on the plain ground. And you guys, it was the same. My feet was drumming the earth and I was barefooted and walking on the grass. So there is no explanation for that. And when I have talked about it with some people, they told me that I was getting connected to Mother Earth. Maybe that's the explanation. Who knows? Maybe there is some more to it that I don't even know. I don't have a clue. But this is the first thing that happened. And then I started to meet two ladies who was into drumming and reading runes. I don't know if both of them were, but one of them was reading runes, the other one I don't know. But the other one was into shamanism, but in a darker area, sort of. And at that time, my guides started to come more often. And I could sit in, because I would participate in programs for the blind and so on, and try to be active and enjoy myself even if I couldn't see the world. So I could find myself. I remember especially one time, this happened a couple of times, but I remember one time I was sitting in that room and there were a lot of people there. It's like, well, let's say like 10, 15 people. And I was sitting with my guide dog and I was just listening to each and everyone, and everyone came from different countries and all, and were either blind or partially blind. And and then I remember the lady who was going to hold that day's conversation came in, and everyone started to talk, and also listen and all. But then after some time, I could hear a lady come in, and I could hear her bangles. She was wearing bracelets that was clinging like keys clings. So was her bangles, as I call them. And I was like, okay. And I could see her as, as nothing. I mean, I could describe her and everything. And she went past me and she did stand behind me. And I was like, I could hear her bangles and everything, and I could hear her breathe. So I felt like, why not going and finding yourself some chair or something? Why are you sitting behind me? So I turned around and I said in a loud voice, like, "Hey, why not finding a chair?" And everyone in the room got quiet, and they started to ask me, "Asha, who are you talking to?" And I said, "Yeah, but don't you see her? There's a lady behind me, and she has bangles, and they are clinging and all that. And I can hear how they cling all together. It's like bracelets. It's like steel or silver clinging together. It makes a shimmering sound." So I would hear that, and no one else could see her, and no one else could hear that. So I knew that, okay, this is something like awkward, something that only me can experience. I understood that. So I kept quiet. I didn't say anything more. I said sorry. I guess I was wrong, but I was so sure about what happened anyways, and there was nothing more to that. And then after maybe 5 minutes or something, I found myself walking away with that lady. Not through the door or anything, but I can't explain that. It's like half of me was walking with her into a different place, different world, or I don't know how to explain it in a better way. And I know you guys are going to think that I am a crazy person talking about this, but I truly experienced that. And at the same time, I'm sitting in that room and listening to what everyone is saying. So I was at two places at once. And in that room, I could hear what everyone was talking about and could participate even. But in the other world, or whatever I should call that, I was in another classroom learning and teaching as well. So I was both learning and teaching. And that was like, wow, for me. And I don't remember what I did learn at that time and what I did teach. I just knew that I was in two places. And this started to happen often to me for some time, that I was at two places at the same time. And I wasn't scared of it or anything. I was divided, sort of. And the next thing that happened was that I got to let me see if I am taking it in the right way. Yeah, the next thing that happened was that I started to connect with people who were spiritual, but people were more fond of me than what I was of them, actually, and they were not at the same level as myself. And I'm not saying that I'm in better level or better than anyone or anything, because I am not. I am just small human being as everyone else. So so yeah, I could find myself with people like that, and would help a lot of people as well. And I decided to get my first drum. But before that happened, I was out walking another day, and what happened was I could hear four winds singing. I have never experienced that more than once, and it was the very biggest experience, because it was like the winds came from different what do you say, different directions. So it was the wind from the south, wind from the east, west, north, and I was stunned about that. And then again, I had the same dream that I was standing in a circle with a lot of people around, and it was night or evening, and we were all Native Americans, and we were standing and drumming. Some were sitting. It was the same dream, and I could see myself drumming and all that as well. And suddenly I remember how the things, the tippies started to burn, and the people started to run everywhere, screaming and all that. That was the second dream, but same dream as the first one, but this one was a little bit longer than the first dream that I had. So that was crazy for me. So I decided, okay, as I did dream this 3 times, it's time for me to get a drum. So I bought a drum. I went to a music shop and I bought myself a drum, which I asked my friend to paint, and she did. And it's a beautiful drum. I think it will function in all the weathers as well, but it's heavy and big. So what I did was I asked her to paint that drum for me, and I told her what I wanted on painted on my drum and everything. And then after this, I started to do a project to show people a little bit about my heritage and so on. And there is where the drum was important, and everything else. So I stopped as I was walking that path, learning. My dad, he had passed away, but he would come and he would help me how to create the right things, which I didn't have actually knowledge of, but he would help me as a spirit. And I would do that, and my granny as well. And I did sew my own jingle dress. I did fix my shoes, I remember. I did do my fan, create my fan. I did do everything on my own. Because it was a project for me, but at the same time I was growing in all that, and I was learning, and as I was meeting the 2 ladies that I mentioned about, one of them was darker. So what happened one night was that my guides came and got me, as they would do. It didn't matter if it was night or day. And I would be awake. That this time I was sleeping actually, and I could. I found myself in a dream where I was in a classroom again, teaching someone, or actually not someone, but people, or the souls, or whatever, something. And I could hear that lady coming towards the house, and I said, no way, she's not coming here, because she's not light. This is only for the light workers, and she's into darker shamanism, what I thought in the dream. So I went out from the house, ran down the stairs, I remember, and before she could come in through the gate, I was in front of the gate and I just grabbed her. And I told her, before I did do that, I told her, you don't belong here. This isn't a place for you. And she didn't say anything. And what I did do is I did lift her up and I just threw her very far away. And what happened was that I have 5 guides, okay, you guys? And 3 of them came out from the house applauding me. So they was applauding and saying, Asha, you passed the test, because now you know what is good and what isn't. And I didn't think of it much. And then they told me that when you wake up tomorrow, your cross that your dad gave you will be in 2 pieces. Don't be sad over it. And they told me what to do with the cross as well. So, and they said, don't be sad, because it was good that the cross did break instead of you breaking or something happening to you. And when I woke up, you guys, the first thing I felt was my chain and the cross. And the cross was into bits. And I was stunned that I found that being true. It wasn't just, a lie. This dream wasn't just a dream. Something happened. And so I told my friend about it, and I told her about the dream, and I told her what the guides told, what I had to do with the cross, and that's exactly what I did do, what they told me. And afterwards, I started to go to drum circles and drum and sing and participate. I did go through a sweat lodge as well, where people came afterwards and thanking me for giving them healing. So this is how that started for me. And then I started to grow in my shamanism, and I started to grow when it comes to my healing at the same time. Because when I was doing healing, when I do send out healing, and when I do work with people, and it doesn't matter if I am here and another person is in Australia or Gambia or India, Turkey, Canada, wherever, I can still do the same. I don't have to be there. I can be here and do my work without anything. So my guide started to teach me how to do a proper cleansing and how to ground myself and get connected like in the old ways. So I started to do each and everything of what they were saying, and they also taught me how to help people with bigger trouble. And I know how to do that and proceed with things. So I got to learn a lot from my guides, and I'm happy that they did take their time to come and do that and teach me and help me. And trust me, if I did anything wrong, they would let me know. Oh my, that's no doubt. My first guide that I had, I met her when I was 7 years old. I don't remember her much. I remember her just little. I think I was between 5 and 7, not 7, but between 5 and 7. I met her the first time, and she came and we did do things. I remember some of it, but not everything. I don't even remember how I came home and everything. That was my first meeting with my first guide, and the next time she came, she had a lot of things with her, and she had another guide, my second guide, with her, and that guide came with boxes. It was 3 boxes, I remember, and they were, like bigger boxes. We have a lot of books. There were a lot of books in the boxes. And he said, Asha, here is your knowledge. And this is what you're going to learn. And this is what you're going to do in the future. And at that time, I think I was maybe 12. Yeah, I was 12. Yeah, between 10 and 12, I think, somewhere there. I'm not sure exactly, but I think I'm not saying wrong if I say between 10 and 12 somewhere. And I remember that he did pick up some of the books, and he showed me. And the first books, the books in the box were all about the earth itself, about the nature, about the trees, about the mountains, about Mother Earth. And it was a full box of knowledge, just of Mother Earth. The next box was all about humanity, humans, people, animals, everything that lived on Mother Earth. So from plants to humans to animals and everything. And the third box was all about, the spirituality. And I remember him showing me the books, and I was thinking, like, how am I going to learn all that? And why me? I don't need all this. That was what I was thinking, at that time. But I didn't make any big deal out of it. Today, I understand what I was being shown. Then I didn't. I mean, I was a child. What does a child understand of big things? And then when I was 14, my first guide came back, and she started to communicate with me. And it was just me who could see her. And we were a bunch of kids playing outside, cousins and so on. But no one else saw her than me. And I remember when because I was rude to her. I usually am not rude to anyone, and I try not to be. But I thought she was a man. And I remember asking, the man, which I thought was a man, what are you staring at, old man? Ugly old man, or I said something like that. And she came forward and she, said, good evening, Asha. It's good to see you. And I was like, oh, this isn't a male, this is a female, and she knows my name. And I was like, oh my God, now she's going to tell my mom, and my mom is going to beat me up completely because I was rude. So I was scared. And I was so scared that I didn't know what to think. And she said, yeah, I know your parents, and I know everything about you. And she said, I have been following you for many years, from the beginning, from your start till now. And I was like, okay, I didn't think about, of the words like what she said, but I thought like, what did I do? Why did I tell her all that mean words? That was on my mind, and I felt so. I felt that in my heart. I felt the pain by being rude, and how sad I was after doing that, being so, and the tone that I used and everything. I mean, it wasn't me. And I told her, look, I'm very sorry for what I told you and being rude to you. I didn't mean to be anything. And I'm very sorry about it because I didn't mean that. And I did tell the same phrase over and over, I think 3 times. And I wanted to grab her shoulder and her hand because I am a social person. So when I talk to people, I like to touch people sometimes. Not always, but sometimes I do that. Maybe that is because I don't see, so I want to feel them. I don't know. So I wanted to do that, and I couldn't. Because the closer, each and every time I thought I was close to her because we was walking, I couldn't touch her. And that is when I started to think that what is going on? What is happening? Why can't I touch her? And why can't I hear or feel anything else? Because I couldn't hear the world outside. I couldn't hear my cousins, my sister, anyone. I just could hear her and me. And I was like walking in a bubble, you guys. This is how the feeling was. Walking in a warm bubble, and you're feeling, the feeling of it is that you're light, so light as a feather. That's how light I felt. And I decided that no way, I am going to touch you, lady. And I remember that she had a shawl or scarf or something on her head, and I knew that she had something under it, but I didn't know what it was. But I touched her shoulder, and I remember how warm I did feel. I remember how much love came from the lady towards me. It did fill all of me with all the emotions, all the love. It was completely unconditional. And even today, when I go back and think about this, I get emotional. I want to cry because of so much of love that I felt that time. And I told her, I'm sorry and all that 3 times. So she said to me, Asha, I know you, I see you, you're big, the world is small, and I see you everywhere. She answered the same 3 times, okay? And still today, I don't understand her meaning of that, because I don't feel big. I feel small like everyone else. I mean, I don't see myself different. The only difference between me and other people is that I don't see the world as you guys do, who can see the world. I see the world through my own eyes, or through my feelings and everything. And energies and all. So there have been many times that I have been angry at her when I have gone through difficult things, and I have been asking, how can you say that I am big when I don't see myself big? I see myself small, and even smaller than anyone else. So yeah, I've done that a couple of times. And then the next guide, the third guide I got to meet was a couple of years later, I don't know if I was maybe 20, I think, something like that. I was sitting on my bed and I was listening to a book, and I could suddenly feel how I am stepping out of myself. And I was standing in front of myself and I was looking at me. I was looking at me as a human being, and I was looking what was going around, and I could see a snake, a cobra. I remember it so well. And that snake went in through my mouth, and I got freaked out. Because for me, I mean, I have been always told that wherever I have listened, that the snake is evil, is the devil himself and all that. So I thought, I'm evil. I have become devil. That's how dumb I was at that time. And I started to communicate with people who was a little bit same-minded as me, or spiritual. And I told them about my experience, and they told me that, yeah, it's just, it means that you're going to be able to see things more than what others are going to, and you're going to see things beyond that people want to hide as well. And I thought, okay, fine. And then I met my third guide, and the only way I can describe him is like, if you can imagine yourself Gandalf. So something similar to Gandalf, but not Gandalf, but something similar, with long beard and, you know, and all that, but it's not Gandalf, he's someone else. So he came and he did take me to into a mountain. I was inside a mountain, and everywhere in that mountain it was all about clear quartz. I was in a clear quartz mountain. I don't know how to explain it better than that. It was a room in there, and it was just clear quartz, and it was inside of the mountain. And I started to look around and see all the rainbow colors and feel the energy that was coming from all of that. And then I could see a bench out of tree, but it was just enough bench for a book, to hold a book, nothing more. It didn't have place for anything else, just a book. And that guide came and he said, Asha, now you need to give me the information and read the information for me. And I said, what information? What are you talking about? Because I don't understand. He says, yes, you do understand, but you have to remember the information. And I said, but I don't. And how can I know what you're talking about? But I did stand there, and you guys, I don't know how, I did take out a paper from my arm. Or, well, it's not a paper, it's a scroll. A scroll. And I was like, how is that in my arm? So I did take that paper out, or the scroll, and the scroll, and showed him and put it on the bench in front. And now he's saying, read it. And I said, how should I read it? I'm blind. And he said, no, you're not blind here. You can read. And I remember that paper had a different language. And I said, but how should I read this for you when I don't even know what language it is? And he said, you know. And I did read the paper. And then I did, fold it in. and I did put it back into my arm. I don't remember what I did read, uh, and so on. But after that, he would come each and every time I did healing on people, and still till today he do that. He comes and he helps. Um, and then my fourth guide came through. It's a she. Came through and she started to take me through different religions. I got to see the religions of people. So I got to experience Buddhism, Hinduism, Catholicism, atheism, etc., etc. And I didn't understand why I was being taught that, but I remember her saying that everything is one. There is no difference in all between, even if they have different names and all that. And I was always interested in religion as a child. That was one of my favorite subjects in school. And history and all that, old things and so on. She taught me things about religions that is today, and she also told me what is going to happen later on in life, and some of the things have already happened and some of the things haven't happened yet, and I can say that it's both good and scary at the same time. Yeah. And my fifth guide is the guy that have been with me for a long time, since I don't know for how long, for as long as I can remember. But he came one night, and he did bring tools with him. Again, new tools, spiritual tools. So the first thing that he gave me was the flute. So I did take the flute, and I remember how beautiful it was and how beautiful the wood was, and the woodwork on it. And it was darker brown wood in a way, but a little bit, even if it was dark brown, it had red in it. It was beautiful, and it had beads above with different colors and so on, and it was beautiful. And I started to be happy about the gift, and I said thank you. And then he gave me a crystal ball that was a little bit larger, or actually much larger than the one that I had at home at that time. So I understood that gift as well in a way, even if I don't use it for any readings or anything. I have never read a crystal, and I don't know if that's what he meant that I should do, because he didn't talk, he just gave me. And the last gift that he gave me was a pipe. And it was a larger pipe, and also with beadwork, and the woodwork on that pipe, it was like beautiful, and I could just feel it with my fingers and hands and go through each and every thing bit by bit, and I get still emotional when I think about it. And I remember touching it, feeling it with my fingers all over, And I looked at him and I said, why are you giving me this pipe? I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy to receive this. This is not for me. Uh, and he didn't say anything. He just did put it in my hands and went. And I remember being puzzled about this very, very much. And I remember how emotional I was holding all those things in my hand, and especially the pipe. And I started to message people on Facebook to receive clarity, to receive some sort of inside help, and so on. I wish that my dad would be alive, because he would know that, the meaning of all things, but he isn't. And no one would help me. No one would explain, and I felt sad about that. And I was so puzzled about it that I asked out in the universe. I said, if I have to know the meaning of this, please pinpoint me to the right person where I can go and communicate with and receive some answers. And I did message a friend called Linda. And I told her about my dream. And I said, I'm sorry for messaging you, but I was pinpointed to you by the universe, and I'm just doing that. And she explained the meaning of the flute, of the crystal, and the pipe. And I was so honored in my heart to receive that, to receive gifts like that. And this guide is very special, and he also is helping me through when I do spiritual work of some sort, especially when I do healing. And I'm so thankful for having him with me when I do. So each and every time I do a healing session, when I feel good, I ask upon his name to join and to help me, and he do. And before, I know that I forgot another thing that happened before I received the gifts. But what happened before I received the gifts, I met my second guide, and he came, and this was like a dream, sort of through a dream. But he came and he started to paint my forehead and paint my face. So this happened before I received the gifts, the pipe and everything. So he started to paint my forehead. And as he was doing that, as he was painting each and every circle and everything on my forehead, the time was passing, and I could see how day became night, and night became day, etc. And each and every paint that he did put on my face and forehead had its own sort of time passing through the days and nights. And he was chanting, he was praying while doing that. And the colors that he painted my face with, they were red, yellow, and white. well, I wonder if I'm saying it right. Yeah, but I think so. Red, yellow, and white. Was thinking if it wasn't gold. I'm not sure now, but I think it was red, yellow, and white. And if not, it was red, gold, and white colors. And after that, the fourth guide came and gave me all the gifts that I talked about. And this is where I am today. I don't put any walls in front of me. I don't believe that anything is impossible. I believe that you can, if you want, as long as you put your will and mind to it. And it doesn't matter if you see or if you don't see, as long as you, whatever you do, is that you do it with your heart. That is the main thing in everything. And when you can do that, and when you can feel all what you're doing, is what will be important. And I remember when I did make the praying, I don't remember now, my memory is good but short, pouches. I did fill them with tobacco, and I did fill them with sage and so on. And I was doing that. I don't remember how many I made. I think it was over 300 and something, all together bounded. So 300, I don't know if it was 350 small pouches that I made with tobaccos, because that's one of the things that he wanted me to do, and pray over each and every one when I was making and bounding and filling and all that. And it had all the 4 colors for the 4 directions, for the 4 people, for the 4 corners, and everything. So I got to do all that. I'm trying to think if I have missed anything through all this. It have happened to me 2 times. One time was when I was in a drum circle and people were drumming and singing. I was with them as well, but I went away. I turned away and I was drumming still and singing, but I came to a state where I found myself in a different world. So I was again in between 2 worlds, but the world that I was in was sort of, it was nothing there. It was like empty, but it was calm. It wasn't no world with worries or anything like that. And that's an experience that is beautiful for me. The other thing that happened to me that was also special is when I was giving healing to someone. I could feel my guide, how he stepped, and half of me was his and half of me was me, and I could work with him. We did do work together, and that's how he does when he do help me. And sometimes we can be divided and work on different side of the person, depends on what is needed. And a lot of people have been having different experience when I have been sending healing and doing that, and they have been telling me that, wow, Asha, I thought you were standing over my head, but when I peeked, I saw you standing near my feet. and I could feel your hands on my head. And I said, yeah, well, you didn't feel me, you felt my guide. So he will show them that he is there, that he is with. So that is one thing. Another thing that happened to me when I was in a class listening to a male talking about his experience when it comes to spirituality, I could see one of my guides coming and taking my hands and holding them. And I could also see myself, how I turned to a bird. I don't remember now what sort of a bird I became. I can't say if it was an eagle or if it was an owl. I don't remember. But I know that I did fly. I went for a flight, and it was fun. And it was interesting to do that and to enjoy to being a bird. So yeah, so a lot of things in between that have happened. The next time when I will make a video, I will let you know about my experience when it comes to meeting different spirits, and when I have done cleansings and also communicating with spirits and so on. So that will be video number 3 that you can listen to about me. But this is some of the things of my shamanic journey. And what I didn't say is how it started all for me, but when I was in between 5, I think, 5 and 7 or something like that, I fell down the stairs and it was a thunder and I got hit by it. I forgot to mention that from the beginning, as you guys see. And that is when some of the things started to happen, and I was close to death, and I was gone for some time. And when I came through, and my grandma was scared, bless her soul, a lot of things opened up a little bit more for me. So even if I was in tune to spirituality already, I got more in tune after this happening. So this is something that I have gone through. So this is my shamanic journey. Some of it, not everything. I can't share everything because that would be like sharing a whole book or something. But this is what I feel important to share a little bit about my experience. And if you have had experience, let me know yours, what your experience were, and what stages have you gone through, and what have you learned and received, and all that, because it's always interesting. So till we meet again, walk in unconditional peace, love, and light, and remember that we are all related, okay? No one is better than the other. No one is bigger than anyone else. We're all the same. We all have a heart that beats. We all have, blood that flows through the body and all. So that is how I will end this video. So next video, the third, will be about spirits, ghosts, and other things that I have met through my spirituality that I will let you in on. So till next time, be safe out there.